When I was doing some of the research, I guess doing some research for the show, I found that like the first kind of food allergies, at least in modern, we'll call it modern medicine, described a little bit over 100 years ago. But we've seen this boom. I mean, I think like when I was a kid growing up in the 80s, you know, you're sharing lunchboxes all the time, like trading things, I have my Goonies lunchbox, I have a Star Wars lunchbox. We're trading stuff, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches all the time. And now, that's not even happening at the school level. So what happened? How do we get from like what seemed like no food allergies back even 30, 40 years ago? And there were allergies, but it just seemed like there wasn't. And now we have this just heightened awareness. Yeah. What's going on? Or do we know why this is happening?
So when we talk about the statistics, there's 2 kids per classroom that now have food allergies. And in adults, we're talking about actually when we look at Soldier Field Stadium, one whole section of adults would have food allergy. So what has changed in the last few years that has predisposed? So we know genetics plays a role. So if a mom or dad or runs in a family to have food allergy, there's going to be a higher risk in the child for food allergy. So that's one thing that plays into effect. The second thing is basically the environment. So we have less people who previously were living in farms, so now we have more pollution going on in the city. This is why we're fighting for Clean Air Act here in the United States and everything else too. We have more actual processed foods as well too. So now your mom and my mom didn't say, okay, microwave your meal and that's your meal for the day. We didn't have microwaves around at all.
No, we did not.
No, so everything was homemade, fresh food, everything else too, and suddenly, so all these chemicals are changing what's called the microbiome in the actual gut. So the microbiome is basically the gut bacteria that allows for tolerance. So what changes it? So from the studies now we know certain things actually predispose kids or adults to have food allergies. One is if a mommy receives antibiotics when she's pregnant. And that basically will alter the gut bacteria in that baby because it not only wipes out the bad bacteria but also the good bacteria for the tolerance. If the baby has trouble upon birth and receives antibiotics, then that baby's also going to actually have a higher risk of food allergy. The other thing is, for example, if the baby's born via C-section versus vaginal delivery, because again, they're not exposed to the good maternal vaginal bacteria that's needed for immune development. And then the fourth thing is, a dog predisposing the actual birth of a baby at home decreases the risk of food allergies and environmental allergies, etc., because they bring outside bacteria in. A cat increases risk.
So a cat increases risk, meow, and a dog, Fluffy, decreases risk. I did not know that. So that's awesome. And now I might have to make a compelling argument to my wife now that we need to get a dog.
That's right.
So we'll see how that works. She's not going to like that I said that, but that's all right.